Welcome back, YouTubers, to my channel of an everyday life of an Aspie. If you're following me right now, I'm known as Aspie. I'm all about creating mental health and awareness, sharing my life stories with Aspie's syndrome and the like, along with every other, hopefully, new changes that's going to be taking as of 2017 of the changes of my videos and whatever else to hopefully take you all on a journey of whatever I might be doing as I do. Anyway, and further ado, guys, basically at the point of time I'm doing more of the mental health awareness. As I said, this is where my passion lies, obviously, for you all, because I'm all about health and awareness. I know that many people may not want it to be addressed, but as I said, I'm hoping to be like a voice or a mentor or whatever kind of title you want to call me, basically, of support in any way I can, regardless of it all. And hopefully in regards to this, that we can know the warning signs and symptoms, the causes and triggers of certain mental health disorders that comes our way, because as we know, we tend to question in our everyday lives why it's happening, how it's happening, and what's the causes of it. Many people think it's an excuse of many people that share their stories or some sort of sympathy kind of feel for them, but it's not all about that. Obviously, I give praises to the ones that I have been trying to follow on my channel right now. They know who they are, about basically having the courage to actually speak out, because as I am forever thankful and grateful that basically with the help of the social media sites, as well as just the social media platforms, we're able to hopefully be able to connect with one another and actually engage, and also raise an awareness and understanding, also along with basically in our hopes to remove the stigma and stereotyping of every mental health disorder we can think of that we may go through and experience. And we never know, some of the stuff that we go through in our everyday personal struggles may be of beneficial help to others. So before I run out of time, obviously, as I said, I'm doing some more mental health series, and these ones are all about panic attacks and some more forms of my anxiety series that we need to clear up, even though there'll be a lot more information to share with you all of what I can give you of the tips and advice along the way, as well as maybe warning signs that you may need to look out for, and whatever else it may be. So therefore, basically, check in my playlists as always, as well as maybe, I don't know, feel free to share these videos around to family and friends, regardless what it may be, hopefully, because I believe in my whole heart that regardless of what we go through in our everyday lives, someone may need to hear this, regardless if it's a message of support, tips and advice, or whatever I give out, sort of thing, because I want to just hopefully do the best I can to actually share with these. Also, just to bear in mind, also, while I'm doing these mental health disorders, I can't stress it enough as a disclaimer, I am no medical professional. I'm just a normal everyday female that's minding my own business, trying to do what I can do for my well-being, of these tips and tricks, of these techniques that I feel that is beneficial to me. I know that it may not be beneficial to all people, but as I said before, I just urge you guys to try maybe do some of these tips and tricks along with these techniques and see how it goes, and if all else fails, seek medical professional help or opinion, regardless of what it may be. So enough further ado, guys, obviously this one's all about the how to obviously avoid panic attacks. There are 4 ways of doing so. So what I did in the first piece was basically just to overview it before I continue, however, is method 1 obviously is getting help with panic attacks, which considered of contacting your doctor or anyone that specializes in this area that you go through. Number 2 is consider some treatments psychologically, or some form of treatment plan that will work for you. Number 3, join a support group network in your local area, or even maybe with these support groups or networks, some of them may be on just as social media platforms or sites such as Facebook. There are plenty out there that now are trying to be of thing. And then just maybe tip number 4 on this is looking for support from your friends and family, because obviously, as I said before, with this, it's not easy trying to deal with this alone. Obviously, finding people who we can trust obviously is the key too when it comes down to it, obviously, and that we need to realize that regardless of it all, that we are not alone. We all are in this together, one way or another. So method 2, let's begin this, is changing our thinking patterns, habits about panic attacks. As I said before, I'm also learning these along the way while I'm giving you these tips and advice, so don't throw it back at me, saying, you haven't tried these and whatever. I'll admit, yes, some of these don't work for me that I've been trying to do for myself, but like I said, I'm like any of you guys trying to find any alternatives. So let's begin this before I run out of time. So number 1 of the method 2 is we need to realize and acknowledge that to ourselves, that when we're trying to avoid the panic attack, this is part of the problem. Okay, as we know, basically, as I said before, we need to know the causes and triggers, signs and symptoms, and whatever else, what's, how's, and everything else to problem solve it. Because as we realize that panic attacks, however, or anything of that matter, are the results of our body responding to maybe, however, in this case, a perceived trauma of some kind that may have eventually happened to us in the past or present, however, or some form of threat that's come into play in our, circle, however. But then we need to remember, though, in these pattern or occurrences of these panic attacks, however, these are likely to occur due to the individual's anxiety related to the actual panic attack itself, and their fear of the panic attack will be painful and harmful sort of thing, or harmful, shall I say, and or this fear then will also lead to obviously increased anxiety that will then trigger another occurring panic attack. So like I said before, when it comes down to it, when you see someone that shows these classic signs basically and symptoms, be able to know how to do these in a respectful manner. Obviously some people may push you away, but don't get offended if they do so. Just be their support. Try not to, as I said before, I can't stress it enough, not put them down to get them out, tell them to get over it and all that. That's a no. Don't tell them forever it's in their head. They know what they're going through, obviously, with their panic attacks and any other mental health disorders. They're needing support from us neurotypicals. Even though I can't label myself as neurotypical, because obviously, well, I could probably half and half. It's hard to say, really. But in saying that, though, we need to be in mind that whatever they're going through, we need to be their support system. There's the right way and wrong way of saying it and helping people. Obviously, as I've learned basically in my past and present, I'll admit that some of it I'm doing more damage than good, most likely for some people that I've been trying to support, whoever it may be. So, and I was saying that, though, number 2, understand that the panic attack that they're experiencing or you're experiencing will eventually pass and will not kill you. Many people, may tend to look like they're going overboard, thinking that in their thought pattern that, I'm going to die, this is not fair, all the self-negativity and doubt that will cloud over while this is happening. So basically what is entailed here is, I haven't stressed it enough already, is CBT or cognitive behavioural therapy, which obviously, I'll say it again, is an evidence-based treatment plan or just based treatment for panic attacks or anything of that matter that helps focus on changing the thoughts, as well as the, not just the thoughts as such, but changing the patterns of those thoughts one way or another, in order to alter our feelings, both psychological and physiological, as well as the actions that comes into play with it. Ironically, however, the fear of a panic attack can lead to more panic attacks in a given. Obviously, that's fair enough. Your fear of having a panic attack is directly related to your thoughts about having an attack. If you change your thoughts to more realistic evaluations, then you can prevent or lessen any future attacks that may occur by reducing your anxiety and fear. Many people may think that panic attacks are fear related or anxiety related. To me, they can be true in its own right, however. Also, basically, as I said before, it's important to decatastrophize the effects of a panic attack. Remove our negative thinking by, instead of thinking like, I'm having a heart attack or I feel like I'm going to die right now in a given. Change the thought pattern of thinking to something like, I am okay, I'm just having a panic attack, I will eventually pass. I'm better than this, panic attack, I can rise and overcome this, I can do this, as I said before, maybe to do some of these, self-affirmations about building yourself up with these positivities regardless. And obviously you will eventually notice that it will get easier over time, however, for us to manage and cope with these panic attacks that we may go through now and in the future. However, just to bear in mind also while we're doing this, however, I've learned too with these self-affirmations that it's good to build ourselves up, obviously. Also, another form of thinking here, also just to let you know, sometimes we need to find the right support network, obviously. I know that it's hard sometimes for us to just come out of our shells, as I said before in the first part of the method, that we need to seek that, help from groups or professionals, whoever. But in order to do this, we need to admit that something's not right in ourselves, and hopefully we'll be able to tackle it head on. Anyway, last but not least, on the number 2 for this method is use a panic attack thought record sheet in order to track your thoughts and actively change them in order to reduce them, future ones that you're going to go through. Number 3, facing your fears head on. Allowing your fears, especially worries about having a panic attack, will eventually tend to build up over time. This will obviously, in the given, increase the severity and frequency of panic attacks. Thus, however, by reducing your fears by facing them head on could alleviate panic. Because instead of avoiding the issue, you are dealing with it appropriately and in the right formal manner. Not only that, if you can focus on something else as a distraction for you, this may help you to, basically add a distraction for you also, regardless of it all when it's happening. This will eventually help to alleviate some of the anxiety that has been building up and causes you to have these attacks regardless. Instead of suppressing the fears or hoping they will go away, deal with them in a straightforward manner. As I said, you can label your fears, as you feel fear coming on. Assign a number to fit it from 1 to 10 maybe. Your fear most likely won't stay at a higher number for long though, however, because obviously over time, that while tackling, with these techniques and methods, it will obviously help. So as long as the number decreases, you can feel more relieved. When you fear failure, try new things that you haven't experienced so far or you've been afraid to attempt to do in the past. If your fear is based on a classic example for some people, interacting in social, interactions or situations, basically meeting new people, going to parties and whatever else, and trying to accept invitations to parties and gatherings that you have declined in the past, maybe trying to hopefully maybe get out of that comfort zone like I'm proving to myself right now in one way or another to, bring myself out there as well as maybe you guys too. It's all about up to you guys to make that change for yourself. Okay, number 4, accept all emotions in general. As we know, individuals who does experience any or some of the panic attacks may avoid emotions more often and not accept their feelings as often as they should, or as those who don't experience the panic attacks. Learning to accept your emotions, however, instead of avoiding them, could help to decrease the incidence of panic attacks, because the more acceptance you have, the less fear you might have about having or getting these panic attacks. Since more fear and worry is associated with these panic attacks, associated with more panic attacks, less fear and more acceptance may help to reduce the panic. When you feel a negative emotion, maybe you could do as a tip here, say to yourself, this emotion is there right now and what I am feeling is natural. However, this gives me important information about how I am doing. It is okay to feel this emotion now and again, and I can and will get through this no matter what. Attempt to be in tune with the emotions that you feel, reaching into your inner being and actually being able to, stay in tune of these emotions, be it your anxiety, panic, or what have you, instead of avoiding them altogether. Sit with the emotion and experience how it feels in your body and what thoughts are you thinking while you are having this form of emotion. Number 5, focus on what you can control. As we know as a given, sometimes, when it comes down to this one, we know that when we worry about certain things, we can't always tend to control certain things that comes our way. There are sometimes times we need to realize that we may need to let go of the situation, be it that, it's a relationship that's dragging us down or a job that's not going well for us. Sometimes we might need to let go of the job, even if we think that, you know, it's for our sanity and our health, obviously, for the job or anything of that given matter, to just, you know, do what we may. Okay, yes, I know for a fact that you may say it's easier said than done. Sometimes we might worry about things that we cannot control, such as what others may say or do, what might happen in the near future. I'll admit this, you know, this is still hard for me, but I'm still learning this today as I'm sharing this too. However, thinking about what we cannot control, however, is really futile. Around what you can't control can increase the anxiety, so avoiding this can help decrease the fear, or it may produce these attacks that keeps occurring. I am hoping as I'm sharing these tricks, however, of the management techniques, that it's somewhat helping you in one way or another. Maybe you will need to observe your surroundings and the situation that you're in and examine what is actually happening, as opposed to what might happen or what your fear might eventually happen. For examples, you could try some of these, like number 1, accept any constructive criticism and praise for a job well done, rather than worrying about how you could have performed better, that you know you can do better regardless that you feel that you've, you know, failed. Number 2, prepare for things that might be out of your control, whether it's a possible illness or a potential disaster. Again, like I said, it's a given. And last but not least, number 3, build positive relationships with others around you. Let go of what others may think of you and embrace those who wants to spend time with you. Even though we know it's a given, obviously, when it comes to down to that one, you know, some people ain't with our time worrying about them and whatnot, because obviously everyone's got their own life to deal with and whatever it may be, regardless what it may be. And hopefully in that given we can realize that whatever they're throwing at us is not our fault, so on and so forth. But like I said before, I'm hoping to address those kind of topics later on about, you know, the emotional abuse versus everything else that I want to bring on my channel. Hopefully, if all goes well this year, I'll give that out to you, because obviously I've been there and done that about the emotional, physical and all that abuse, and hopefully that in some way of that will be of help to you also, along with some other topics that's close to my heart to share with you, or of just normal everyday things. So without further ado, guys, thanks for your support, thanks for watching. Give me a like for thumbs up for support, comment below, as I said so many times before, for engagement, how you guys go about with your methods and techniques on how you avoid panic attacks or any other mental health disorders that come your way. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Feel free to share these videos around to family and friends. Feel free to follow me on my social media sites that will be linked in the description. As I said before, basically I've got a new one coming out, obviously be on the lookout for that. I'm still trying to learn some bits and pieces, even though many people keep telling me some of these, you know, media's sites or platforms are easy to use, but you know, we'll see how we go anyway. And all further ado, guys, do what you love what you do. Until next time, Aspie signing out, have fun, and I'll see you all again.